Breaking news. Tensions explode over the Baltic as NATO jets intercept Russian MiGs. Russian fighters, quote, blinded and trapped without a single shot fired. The sky over the Baltic Sea became the stage for a confrontation that would redefine modern warfare. Two Russian MiG-31 Foxhounds, icons of speed and power, streaked through the cold air, confident, their radars sweeping for threats. But they weren't alone. Unseen, American F-35 Lightning IIs stalked them, stealthy, silent, and networked. These F-35s weren't there to dogfight. Their mission: execute a digital ambush, using information as their weapon. The Russian pilots, unaware, pushed closer to NATO airspace, leaving contrails that marked their path. For NATO, this was the culmination of years of training and technology. The F-35s, linked to a web of allied assets, saw everything. The MiGs saw nothing. This wasn't a battle of missiles and guns, but of signals and data. The Russian Foxhounds, symbols of brute force, were about to hit a digital wall. Their pilots, masters of their machines, were about to become passengers in a cockpit full of ghosts. The silent showdown was about to begin, sending shockwaves through military commands worldwide. The world was about to learn what happens when raw power meets invisible intelligence. In the Baltic sky, the future of warfare was about to be revealed. The MiG-31's mission was classic Russian doctrine: provoke NATO, test their response, and project power. Taking off from Kaliningrad, their plan was to barrel through a busy air route, forcing NATO to scramble jets. The Foxhounds, fastest interceptors on Earth, soared with confidence, believing no Western fighter could touch them. Their gold triggered NATO's quick reaction alert, then turned back, mission accomplished. This was a well-practiced game of chicken at 60,000 feet. But NATO wasn't playing by the old rules. Intelligence analysts had anticipated this move for days. Instead of a standard intercept, a sophisticated trap was set, one designed to teach the Russians a lesson. The mission proved that speed and altitude were now obsolete. The Russian pilots, feeling invincible, had no idea they were flying into a digital cage. Every pulse from their powerful radars was being tracked and used against them. They thought they were the hunters. In reality, they were the prey. The ambush was moments away. NATO's response was a silent symphony of technology. Two U.S. Air Force F-35A Lightning IIs led the way, stealthy, invisible to enemy radar, and connected to a vast network. Supporting them, a NATO AWACS, a U.S. Navy destroyer, and two Swedish Gripen fighters. The Gripens, renowned for electronic warfare, acted as silent partners, receiving targeting data from the F-35s. This cooperative engagement let the Gripens track the MiGs without revealing their own position. The F-35s flew in passive mode, using advanced sensors to track the MiGs' heat signatures from miles away, without emitting a signal. All data was fused and shared instantly, creating a complete invisible picture of the battle space. The MiG pilots saw only empty sky. NATO saw everything. The MiGs were surrounded by ghosts, tracked by systems they couldn't detect. The old rules of air combat, see first, shoot first, were overturned. The F-35s and Gripens were perfectly positioned for a digital ambush. The MiGs, unaware, flew deeper into the trap. The stage was set for a new kind of battle. The future of air combat was about to be demonstrated. The trap was ready to spring. The attack came not with missiles, but with a silent wave of electromagnetic energy. As the MiGs crossed the line, the F-35s unleashed their electronic warfare suites. This wasn't simple jamming. It was a digital assault designed to blind and confuse. In an instant, the MiG cockpits erupted in chaos. Radar screens filled with phantom targets, missile warnings blared, navigation failed, communications were drowned in static. The pilots were deaf, blind, and lost. The psychological impact was immediate. Panic replaced confidence. The F-35s and Gripens coordinated, feeding the MiG's sensors a false reality. The Russian threat displays lit up with fake missile locks from all directions. The hunters had become the hunted, disoriented, terrified, and fighting their own instruments. The F-35s and Gripens remained invisible, calmly watching the chaos unfold. Without a shot fired, Russia's most powerful interceptors were neutralized. The electronic ambush was a stunning success. The MiG pilots had lost all situational awareness. They had no idea where the threat was, or even which way was home. The digital battlefield had claimed its first victims. The age of electronic warfare had arrived. The MiG pilots had one option: run. With systems in chaos and alarms blaring, the lead pilot dove for safety. His wingman followed. Mission abandoned, they fled east, desperate to escape the invisible threat. The retreat was frantic, a humiliating contrast to their earlier bravado. The electronic attack followed them, jamming communications and flooding their screens with false targets. This was deliberate. NATO wanted the lesson to be unforgettable. The invisible hunters escorted them to the edge of Russian airspace, then vanished. Back at base, the shaken pilots described being ambushed by a massive NATO force, dozens of aircraft appearing from nowhere. Ground crews were baffled. Their own radars had seen nothing. Days later, Russian intelligence confirmed a sophisticated electronic assault. No missiles, no enemy aircraft on record. The conclusion: their best interceptors had been defeated without a fight. Outmaneuvered, outsmarted, and psychologically broken by an enemy they never saw. The humiliation was profound. The incident was classified, but the message was clear. The Baltic skies had changed forever. The age of brute force was over. This confrontation marked the end of an era. Speed and altitude no longer guaranteed dominance. The MiG-31, once untouchable, was rendered helpless by a networked enemy. The F-35's advantage wasn't speed, but information dominance. It could see the MiG without being seen, attack electronically from safety, and dictate the terms of engagement. The MiG's powerful radar became a liability, broadcasting its location to every passive sensor. The pilots' reliance on their instruments made them vulnerable to deception. When their screens lied, they were trapped inside their own technology. The new currency of air power is data, collecting, processing, and sharing it faster than the enemy. Stealth now means controlling the flow of information, not just avoiding radar. A lone fast jet is no match for a networked pack. The MiG-31s weren't beaten by better jets, but by a better system. The age of the network had begun. NATO's response was as calculated as the operation itself. Official silence followed. No boasting, no press releases. The goal: send a clear, deniable message to Russia. With no physical evidence, Russia couldn't protest without admitting defeat. Behind the scenes, NATO delivered a quiet warning. The rules over the Baltic had changed. Future provocations would meet technological superiority, not just force. The operation accelerated plans for deeper integration, linking all Allied aircraft, ships, and ground systems. Training shifted to focus on electronic warfare and network defense. The value of stealth was reaffirmed, not just for attack, but for battlefield control. The operation showcased alliance unity, American tech, Swedish expertise, and multinational command. NATO proved it was a cohesive, integrated force. The message over the Baltic: you face the combined might of the alliance. A new deterrent was established. The Baltic incident sent shockwaves through defense ministries worldwide. For Russia, it exposed a critical vulnerability. Brute force was no match for advanced electronic warfare. Their investment in powerful jets was suddenly in question. For NATO, it validated years of investment in stealth, data networks, and electronic warfare. Air dominance was redefined. It's about controlling information, not just the sky. Nations relying on old doctrines faced the reality that their fleets could be obsolete. Demand shifted towards stealthy, networked aircraft. The operation became a global advertisement for fifth-generation warfare. By using non-kinetic means, NATO de-escalated a crisis and achieved a strategic victory. No shots fired, but a powerful message delivered. The threshold for conflict was raised. Future aggressors would face exponential risk. The future of air combat had arrived. The silent confrontation over the Baltic was more than a military encounter. It was a turning point. Brute force has been replaced by information superiority. The Baltic skies are now a digital fortress, protected by an invisible web of sensors and platforms. The future of airspace security lies in the strength of the network. Seamless collaboration between F-35s, Gripens, and NATO infrastructure is the alliance's greatest asset. Russia's ability to intimidate its neighbors has been curtailed. Every flight, every signal is now a potential liability. Security is about dominating the electromagnetic spectrum. The principles shown here will shape strategy for generations. The sky is no longer the limit. The digital domain is the new high ground. In the 21st century, the most powerful weapon is the one you cannot see.